Welcome to another episode of the Everyday Game Changers podcast. I'm your host, Barion McQueen, and you know how we do each and every week. We talking to everyday people changing the game in music, community, business, and more. And today's guest definitely checks the music category. And judging by the music, I couldn't hear her accent, but since I spoke to her, I heard her accent. Natalie Shay, how are you?
Hello, I'm good, and I'm in England. I'm in London.
She's in London, my favorite.
Yeah.
I haven't been to London. It's probably been since I was 18.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna tell you how long how long ago that was, but it was I'm 37 now, so that
Are
was,
you?
my gosh, almost 20 something years ago.
Wow.
And I'm sure it's changed 1,000 times since then. They were still using the pound when I went.
We still use the pound.
It's still the pound. It's not. What am I
Yeah,
thinking
it's the
about?
pound.
What's the other?
Pardon?
What's Hold on. What am I thinking? What's the universal currency there?
Oh, the euro.
The euro. So
Yeah,
y'all
we
still
don't
use
have
the
that.
pound. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
we've never had the euro. It's
So
not come to England, but
so
we
that's
will get new money because now the Queen's died.
oh
It
my
won't have the
god.
Queen on it anymore.
How has that affected everything? Is it different
um,
there? Or is,
yeah, it was. I think it was sad because for most people, it's like for most people that are alive, like this is the only
thing they know,
Queen. Like,
right?
yeah, we've only ever had the Queen because she's so old. So like anyone kind of her age or younger since she was in power, like
Yeah.
we've always had the Queens. I think it shook things up. It's different. It woke me up. It kind of made me feel different about just kind of everything. Like,
Right. That's different. That's dope. Yeah, I
yeah.
went. When I went, soon as I landed in London, I was so hungry. I went to a place called the Perfect Fried Chicken.
Nice.
As soon as I got off, we ended up in Piccadilly Circus,
Mm-hmm.
and we was there just eating and drinking all day. And then the nighttime came. We wanted to go to like get some tattoos. It's like I got
No.
like so much ink like
Oh,
everywhere,
cool.
music notes and everything. So
Brilliant.
I'm like, yo, we're gonna go in London and we're gonna go get some tattoos. I did not know where we was going was not a tattoo parlor. It was like a whorehouse.
Oh my God.
So
Really?
it was the weirdest alley that I've. So my experience in London was my first time was different. It was fun though. I got to
Yeah.
get back. I
That's
got
mad.
Yeah. I went to the closest I've been. I haven't been to Europe. I got married in Ireland two
Cool.
3 years ago. I haven't done much traveling since COVID and all of that stuff. So,
Right.
but talk to me about this music, like
where,
this new
where
music.
where do I
This
start?
Yeah. How are you introduced to music in
Oh,
general?
okay. So my whole life story. So when I was like 5 years old, I really liked musical theatre, like musicals, and I started doing like training, like sort of just like like kids go to like theatre school. So I did that on the weekends, and around the same time, like when you join school here, they ask you like, do you want to learn an instrument at the school?
Oh wow.
Um, and most people learn like violin or piano, normally classical instruments. And I think they do only offer classical instruments, but my dad really wanted me to learn the guitar. But the only option that I had was classical guitar because you have to do a classical instrument. So I learned classical guitar. I did that for like years. I did all my grades, like, and did that until I was like 16, like, playing classical guitar. And I also was obviously really into musical theatre. And then I got really into Taylor Swift when I was like 9 or 10. I was like, oh, she's so cool. Like, she plays guitar, she sings, she writes her songs. That's so cool. And I was like, well, I have a guitar. Like, I'd quite like to do that. So I think around when I was like 10, I taught myself like chords, and then I started writing songs. I guess they were probably awful because I was 10, but that's kind of when I started. And then when I was 13, I started playing like little shows around London, playing my own songs, and I've kind of just done it for 10 years. That like it's obviously grown, but that's how it started.
What's your pro? Because you do like, so my background is in music. I still produce music to this day, right?
Oh,
So
mate.
when I'm in the studio with artists who don't write their own stuff, what's your process like when you write? Do you work on like a melody with the guitar first, or do you have maybe just some lyrics in your mind, and then you go the other route.
Yeah. I feel like for me, I'm more a lyric person than I am a melody person. I can write melody, but I don't normally write unless I'm lyrically have got something to say.
Nice.
Like I don't sort of write a song and like I've done loads of, like you get put in a session and sometimes you don't like want to write a song that day and you're really forcing
Right.
you're forcing the lyrics so much and they're just like so two-dimensional and like don't mean anything. So I tend to try and not write songs unless I've got something I want to write about. I think that makes it better though, because like obviously music's about the melody and lots of people don't listen to the lyrics, but then the people that do listen to the lyrics, it's good to have something that people can feel. So for me it's more about lyrics, but I write them at the same time. I've never written words and then put them to music, and I've never written music and then like written lyrics later. It's normally like at the same time I'll find a sort of melody line and then I'll lyric it as I go. So it's very much like at the same time.
Nice.
Yeah.
So everybody don't have that flexibility like you to play the music and write the lyrics. So when you're doing your songwriting, how often is some of the subject matter closely related to your life versus just general music?
I think it's always, it's either about me or someone close to me, or they've told me something and I've gone like, oh, that's really inspiring. Like I feel like I understand that and I want to get that into a song. But yeah, it's always something that's either happened to me or someone that I know.
Got it.
Yeah.
Where are you at when you come up with this Heaven record? What how does that come about? I love the lyric. I'm a lyric guy, so when I hear the lyrics, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see the video.
Amazing. Thank you. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah. So we wrote in the first like lockdown in England in 2020. And then there was a time where in the UK the restrictions got lifted so that you could go and meet people if it was for work, and obviously like going to studio is work. So I was like, okay, great. So I don't have to write on Zoom anymore because I didn't like doing Zoom sessions. It wasn't really my thing at all. So I went with this guy and he was kind of like, what are you even thinking? And I was like, well, I feel like the whole pandemic and everything is just like, I feel like I've just grown up. I feel like I was a kid before and now I feel like I'm a woman, although I'll probably say the same thing next year when I've grown even more. But at that moment, I was just like, yeah, I feel like now I'm a woman. Like I understand what's important in life. And like I was focused on things that like weren't unimportant, but they weren't like, I feel like it really put into perspective how important like family and community and like friends and all that is. And I was like, that's actually what life's about. And like it's not all about like thinking ahead all the time. Like you've got to appreciate the moment and appreciate everything you've got, and you have to appreciate every day. And I wanted to get a song that said that, but more from a perspective of my own reflection, like on myself and things I've learned and how like ultimately we all just like die. So let's just be good to each other.
How hands-on are you when like creating the visuals? Like in my mind, I feel like I'm excited to see what the visual for that song is going to be. But how hands-on are you with your creative process?
So normally I'm quite involved with I'm more with the idea. I have got one person that I collaborate with on my videos, so I've been collaborating with for like 5 years. Like we do all of the videos together. He's so creative. I'm not so visually creative. I've got ideas, but I can't sort of like
put it to paper.
How photographers they're like, oh, this is what we're gonna do, and I'm like, okay, and then they just make it look so amazing. I don't understand that. That's not my skill at all. I'm more music than visual. So I give a concept, but for this particular song, because obviously I'd use like the baby photos of me as a kid for the artwork.
Correct.
And I had loads of video from that time. So the music video for this song is mostly just home video. Like
really?
For a long time ago.
I always tell my mom, I'm like, do we have home videos of me? He's like, we couldn't afford nothing to record home videos, but I got a photo album. So I'm like, oh, we might have to like make some of the pictures move.
Yeah.
But that's dope though. So you got all of that footage that you can.
Yeah, it was hard because it was filmed on like a film camera.
Oh, VHS type.
Yeah, but I didn't know how. I was like, I don't know how the hell I'm gonna get like, how do I get that off the video camera and make it like digital? I didn't know what I was doing, but I found someone that helped me. But it's good as well because now I have it all digitally now, so I'll have that forever.
That's dope. How has like social media changed with you as far as doing music, like with your brand though? Has it helped?
Um,
Has it hurt? Is it too
a bit of
overwhelming?
both.
Is it
I have very mixed feelings about it. I feel like it's it's taken away some of what like being an artist is, and sort of what like the culture around musicians and artists and fan culture like back in the day, and how it was more about like the art than updates every day.
got it?
And I kind of I like that and I don't like it. I think social media is great because it means that people can get discovered that like maybe don't have like a really rich dad to like pay for their first promotional thing when they're like
Right.
18. So it means everyone gets a chance to be seen, and I think that's brilliant. But obviously I think everyone's kind of aware of like how
Yeah.
it's negatively impacts you.
The good with the bad, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So what's after heaven? You
Oh
working on the
yeah, so
EP? You got an album on the way?
the EP just came out like a few days ago.
That's the one she sent me. I gotta hear the whole thing because she sent
I
me
think I
Heaven.
think yeah, because I think we put the we planned this before it'd come out. I think it was the single was out.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I haven't got it. Okay.
So
So now
maybe you
I
haven't
got it.
heard it.
I have not heard it. So that's on my to-do list during the hurricane here.
Perfect. Yeah,
It-
so that's Heaven's on that EP that's come out, and then I think I'm gonna put another song out in January about something, because all of those songs on the EP, I wrote them all in 2020, and it's like that's great, but I'm no longer that person like that. I was that person when I wrote them, but like now I'm different, and I want to put something out that's like relevant to where I'm at now and stuff that's going on in my life now, so that I can have it out. Because I've never really done that. I always wait so long. Everything comes
I
out
was
so
that,
late.
I was gonna ask that question. Like, so I know a lot of artists, I wouldn't say hoard music, but a lot of people hold music before they release it.
Yeah.
And what's your thoughts on like, because I've heard some records that's like, okay, this record was so ahead of its time, even though we wrote it 2 years ago, it still fit, right? It still was
Yeah.
current. It didn't sound dated. What's your
Yeah.
thoughts on, do you hoard music or do you just want to get
Yeah.
it out?
Oh, I know I do hold it, but it's more like if I think something's really good,
Yeah.
I want it to come out with the best shot it can have, and whether that's to do with like budget or just timing or the time of year. Like I don't know what it's like where you are, but here it's kind of like the best time to be an independent artist and release is kind of January to April, because around Christmas it's all like major artists, and leading into summer it's all major artists as well, and it's heavily polluted with like major artists. And then over the summer most people are away doing festivals, so no one's really in the office. So if you are pitching out new music and you're
Yeah.
not like famous, then no one's going to really pay attention. So you've got to kind of get it out January to April, I think. So I hold on to things definitely and try and aim for that to be the time. So all the singles off this EP, obviously Heaven was like a focus track, but all the singles came out like January to April at some different point.
How do you go about picking? So, like in my experience, every record that I thought was my favorite record, fans gravitated to another record. How do you
Right.
go about picking and saying, do you have like your own little, this is my study group that I'm gonna play these records for and some feedback? How do you pick
Yeah, I
how do
think
you
so.
pick the single?
Yeah, I think it's I normally know if something's really good, like on the day that we make it, I'm like, oh, this is a good one. But then
Okay,
I will play it to the people that I've got a few people that I send everything to,
got it.
and they know like where it would sit. Like even if it's a good song, but they'd know if it was, they'd be able to be like, oh, it's good, but like the other one you did was better. Like I don't just want to be told is it good or not. I want to be told like where it sits in relation to my other songs.
Okay, yeah, the ranking,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I want to know, is it one of the
Got it.
best or not? So
Got
yeah,
it.
I've got a few people I ask, but I normally can tell like on the day if it's really good. I'm like, oh, this is a good one, because I feel
And
good. I'll go home and I feel good.
your music is like, it's almost like feel good music though. Like when I hear it, like I when I hear your music, it make, because I played another record before Heaven, which was the
Okay.
one you had the video with.
Okay.
What was that record called?
What happened in the video?
Not the one with you moving with the guy. What was the one before that one? Was another
New
one.
Wave.
New Wave.
Yeah.
So I'm listening and I'm like, oh, this sounds like to like a Netflix soundtrack or like a
Oh, thank
movie.
you.
Like it gives me soundtrack vibes. Like this could go visually with a movie. Are you
Thank you. Yeah.
are you syncing music to movies or stuff?
Oh, I haven't really had any luck with it yet. I just don't think I've quite had the team on it to
Okay,
do that. But
it
it's
belongs.
always it's just something I always have in mind because I'm always
Yeah,
like, yeah, I like if you're writing story lyrics, I kind of feel like there's
it's,
probably a series that fits.
yeah. So we gotta just take the music and say, hey, now make a movie based off this
Yeah,
this record. Then.
exactly.
So what's the future hold? What we looking for the next? Let's say I usually be like, what do you see yourself in the next 5 years? But I don't ask that question no more. Where's your
Yeah.
process a year from now? What can we expect?
I'd hope that I had a really good summer this year with festivals. It was my first summer of festivals. I hope the next year I have another good one. Hopefully better, but if not better, if it's just the same, I'll be happy with that. I had a really good time. Played a lot of really cool shows. So yeah, festival summer next year would be good. And I've got a big show in March in London. So that'll be a big thing. That'll be a big memory for next year. And I just kind of hope to grow the team. And yeah, like it's kind of always going the way I want it to. So
Nice.
I just hope that it carries on.
How hard was that finding team members to kind of put in place and alleviate some of that pressure to just kind of let you be the artist? How hard was that?
For me, it was really hard because I'd done it for so long on my own. Like I'd done it like 7 years as a job when it was like I was doing everything and my dad was handling all like the accounts. Like we were just sort of doing it from home. So to give up control was really difficult for me because it's always been like my baby, it's always been my thing. And also there's this thing where it's like I'm aware that if you do work with a manager, and I had worked one in the past, like he did so much and didn't tell me about it. And then when we stopped working together, I lost all of the contacts that he had. So
Uh,
I made it like I have to, if I'm going to work with someone from now on, I have to be involved with everything, like not necessarily like emailing all day, but I need to be on the threads. I need to know who we're talking to. I need to meet the people that we're working with. I want to be involved just in case, like if it doesn't work out or for whatever reason, I don't want to suddenly lose
the
everything
relationship,
that
yeah.
I built. Yeah. So I had to find people that I really trusted. And I found two really nice ladies who had both had really long careers in music, and they both came to me separately as independent managers to be a manager. And I was like, oh, well, I honestly, like, I can't pick between the two of you. Your strengths are so amazing. You're both so lovely. I was kind of just like, you two speak to each other, see if you like each other. And if you do
Nice.
like each other, then this will be really cool.
Let's make it work. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's dope. We have a lot of not only entrepreneurs but a lot of musicians, upcoming artists follow our platform. What's one piece of advice you can leave with us for a person that's just like, you know what, I want to do this music thing, but I know it's hard. You can't just be the artist. You got to be the marketing and the social media expert and the photographer. Like, what's one piece of advice you can leave with us?
I think it is really hard, and it's good to admit that it's really hard. And I don't think that's a bad thing to admit that it's like you might be struggling at times. Like I think there's such a sort of thing with social media. You've always got to look like you're doing really, really well. But I think like obviously we all have high points, but generally with music, you're gonna have low points most of the time because it's like the high points are so high, but the lows are so low. I think mental health is the biggest thing around it because for me, my motivation comes from how I feel. When I'm really motivated and really believe in myself and I work really hard and I'm like doing all this stuff, I'm like, yeah, it's so worth it. But when I don't really feel that good, I really struggle. So I think it sounds really cliche, but mental health and being honest and talking to other artists and being honest about how it is doing music. Like I talk to all my artist friends about how hard it is and we all talk about like our issues. But that reminds me I'm not the only one having a hard time. Like everyone's having a hard time and that's okay. And that's the fun of it. And that's the journey you're gonna go on, and it's a great journey, and it's so rewarding, and it's so special. And if you have a passion, then you should do it.
I love that. Well, I want to thank you for your time. I
Thank
know we're
you.
on completely different time zones, but we make this happen. Next time I come to London, I gotta reach out so you can show me
Yes,
all the
please
spots. I'm a food
do.
junkie. When I come, plug me in all your food spots.
Definitely, and you can take me to the hooker tattoo.
Oh my god, we were so naive. We had no clue. So clue. But thank you. You guys been
Thank
tuned
you.
in to another episode of Everyday Game Changers. Make sure you follow Natalie Shay on all social platforms. We will put her information below. and I will see y'all on the next one.